I'm Don Lemon in Atlanta with breaking news out of Colorado right now. The so-called balloon controversy is blown up with expectation of criminal charges. Straight to Colorado now. I want you to listen to what the sheriff said just a short time ago, followed by the owner of the balloon, Richard Heaney's statement. Take a look.
All I'm really here to say tonight is that we have made some significant progress in this investigation. Obviously, we are conducting interviews as we speak. We have been conducting interviews since noon. We've had investigators here as well as at the house. We're in the process of drafting and completing drafting and obtaining some search warrants. And we do anticipate at some point in the future, there will be some criminal charges filed with regards to this incident. What those charges may be, as I stated yesterday, what we were looking at is Class 3 misdemeanor, which hardly seems serious enough given the circumstances. So what we're going to have to do is back up a little bit, retract, talk to the district attorney. We certainly want to talk to FAA officials and federal officials to see if perhaps there aren't additional federal charges that would be more appropriate in the circumstances than what we're able to do locally. So that said, I really don't have anything more to say. We're still working this very hard, and I anticipate that we'll be putting out some sort of a press release later today, simply announcing that we will have a press conference tomorrow.
Sure.
And hopefully by tomorrow we'll have some additional details. I don't know yet. I think we're going to have to wait and see how far this thing goes tonight and what develops.
Sure,
okay?
at this point, it's a hoax.
Let me just say that we will have a press conference tomorrow and address these issues. But as I've said, we've made progress. I think I've said enough that you guys can read what's going on here without me making anything more formal until we can get the rest of the evidence collected, perform some more tests. We have a few things to do, but I think you get the gist on. I'm just going to call it off there and say we will have a press conference tomorrow morning sometime. Okay, thank you.
I was talking to the Sheriff's Department just now to further things along, and we're doing well.
Okay, that's Richard Heaney. Do we have the video? Can we put that up? Do we have Richard Heaney leaving? There's some video of him getting in the car as we talk about this. And as you heard, we're going to get that queued up for you. This is all coming in just within the last couple of minutes. This is indeed breaking news happening in Colorado. As you heard what the sheriff says, let's play the video, and I'll just talk about this story a little bit. You know, we're expected to learn more within the next few hours, the sheriff said. He's saying, read between the lines. I don't have to tell you. You know, I'll just stop it there. This is Richard Heaney and his wife leaving the sheriff's department tonight. The country really was transfixed on this Thursday by the sight of that silvery balloon floating through the sky in Colorado, believed to have that little boy there. Little boy, those are the parents that are leaving the sheriff's department tonight. He turned out to be safe at home. The 6-year-old's name is Falcon. He later told CNN that it was for a show. Everyone was confused by that when they saw the body language. We're going to show you that and talk about that a little bit with a body language expert. The boy's father, Richard Heaney, has adamantly denied it was a publicity stunt. So right now, I think it's apropos to bring in our security analyst, Mr. Mike Brooks. Mike, you know, you're in the business. He was saying a lot, read between the lines. I think we kind of get what the sheriff is talking about, although he did not go into what he expects those charges to be. He said possibly a Class 3 misdemeanor, and he goes, you know, given the severity of this, these charges should be even higher, he believes.
You know, Don, I've been following this from the very beginning. When CNN called me, when this was happening, you know, because of my rescue experience and everything else. And, you know, then we watched this unfold. And then we heard the statement by little Falcon on Larry King Live when Wolf asked him the question. And then the father said, you know, was very defensive. And then, I mean, all along, Larimer County Sheriff has said, well, you know what, I think everything's okay. You know, I think it was legitimate. And now he said, and then the other day after the statement by Falcon on Larry King Live, he said, well, we're going to go back and interview them. And now...
Mike, I want to say this, though. I mean, but according to the sheriff didn't say that what the charges were, who the charges were going to be against. He said just criminal charges. He anticipates charges in the case. He's not saying that this is a hoax. He's not saying that the dad did anything wrong. But when he says read between the lines, what does he mean by that?
What I hear from that, Don, as a former investigator myself, And he goes like, okay, we're going to go, the other day, just Friday, he said, we're going to go back and re-interview them. And now what I'm hearing, he's talking about Class 3 misdemeanors and then possibly federal charges.
Yeah.
Exactly. What he's saying now is, I've re-interviewed them, and Don, they're going to do search warrants. What I'm hearing from there, we're going to do search warrants of their computer, of their cell phone. I think the sheriff has kind of stepped back a couple steps and said, wait a minute, we need to take a closer look at this. And bottom line, I hear from this, somebody's going to jail. That's what I hear.
Really? Even with the Class 3 misdemeanor? You think he's going to try to get those charges upped? And really, because of the attention paid to this, the amount of resources, not only with news organizations, probably the news organizations, we have to eat it. But what about the resources that were put into it for search and rescue people in that area? Is someone going to be held accountable for that if this indeed turns out to be the case that this was not real and that this was manufactured?
There's a very good possibility that. Just the other day, news agencies were asking, okay, Sheriff, how many resources were put into this? He just talked about Larimer County, Don, and he says at least 80 people were involved in this. And we're not just talking Larimer County. We're talking a number of different counties all the way down to Adams, where that went down in the field just east of Denver International Airport. So